days. And now we're going to be seeing who his opponent is going to be in winners finals. We've got YellowRello and Freaks' own JAMA, who's had some very outstanding success offline lately, and we're going to be seeing if this can transfer to online, especially against a guy like YellowRello, who has been Sethlon, you can speak to this, but forged in the fires of the previous other games with that online netcode.
Yep. Yeah, YellowRello's been around for a really, really, really long time. So I don't know how much he plays this game online specifically, but I would not be surprised to see him take to it like a fish to water, as it were. So far, moving pretty smooth, putting out a good zone with his Yoshi mobility and the egg throws. That is going to be pretty tricky for JAMA on his end. He does have those projectiles that he can be controlling space with, but with how fast Yoshi moves in the air, his mobility on top of that, and also the fact that he has a zoning tool of his own, it might be kind of tricky to find those boomerangs to land in the right spot.
That's the thing that JAMA has always been capable of, though. That's what makes him a good Link player, is that he knows how to fight, not without the projectiles, but being able to use them more sparingly. You know, he knows that the world is not written in black and white text, and he finds a way, such as this, right, where he uses those projectiles maybe to fight off the Yoshi or play at the longer ranges, but once he gets to the mid-range, he understands that in this matchup, his sword can command a whole lot of the stage, especially if Yoshi drifts towards him with, like you said, that insane aerial drift.
Yep, and that neutral air, though, definitely to be respected from Link, one of, if not the best neutral airs in the game. Not enough to break the Yoshi armor, though, so Rello is going to be able to use that armor to move around. Not in those situations where he touched through the arrow. That could have been death.
Still is death, though, at the ledge trap. This is one of the things that Link has always been built for. And, of course, Yoshi is one of those characters that has a better time getting around the ledge traps. But the way that Link sets it up can really shut down Yoshi. I mean, ledge trappers that use a lot of projectiles especially give Yoshi a lot of trouble when he's trying to get back on stage because of the fact that a lot of that comes from the double jump armor. But the projectiles are a good way of interrupting that and then giving you the space to come in with your own areas.
Yeah, the scary part of like him armoring through normal like moves, whether that be like tilts or like the smashes you can armor or like aerials, is that after he armors it, he's right on top of you afterwards. And yeah, with boomerangs and such, if he's armoring a boomerang, even if he's not in range, like his opponent's going to be further back afterwards, so the armor is effectively gone, and now he can't swing back.
Sethlon, you're a much more composed man than I am when it comes to getting back to the match, because Rel just hit a custom item combo online, something that he probably has not labbed out before, I wouldn't guess. And he did it like it was nothing. He did it smooth as butter. He's able to jump out of the up smash. That's broken.
Yep, frame one armor, baby.
Well, geez. Okay, so Link's up smash not going to be valid as a full-time anti-air against Yoshi here, but Bomb does buy JAMA the space to force Rel onto that platform. Now he's got the chance to pick up this ledge trap. Actually bounces off of the bomb. I love that setup.
Yeah, very cute.
About to try to set up on the plat. Rel actually goes for the bomb. Maybe looking for another bomb combo. He knows that up B is coming. He knows that's one of JAMA's bread and butters.
Yeah, something it's very tempting as the Link player. It's a very, very fast out of shield option, but you don't want to use it all the time because it can be like it's generally unsafe on hit at lower percents. But now here, whenever it's get to the point where it can seal the stock, it is very, very tempting to hit that button whenever you're in scrambles, especially because like the conditioning on JAMA's part, because of the fact that he's not using it at all. A lot of times opponents aren't thinking about it, but they're definitely ready to react to the down B, not getting the break on the shield, and gets the stock with the punish.
But YellowRello is also able to fire back with a stock of his own. He realizes, okay, I didn't get that shield break. I didn't get the setup hit, on the Yoshi bomb. So the Brong hat doesn't work out for me. But, he's able to even it right back up with the quickness. And you can see that he catches just one overextension from JAMA off stage, tried to punish something that he couldn't. He's taken 61%, and he's still stuck at ledge.
Yeah, those uppers putting on so much damage. Finally managing to find the up B to give himself a little bit of space. Neutral are going to cover that distance to make his landing safe. And now he finally does have center stage back. Percent's going back to even. JAMA clawing his way out of the corner. Oof, yeah, that down air.
Yeah, not
very
safe.
Committal. Very, very committal.
Neutral air not committal at all. And that's the YellowRello classic right there. Make your opponent think they're safe off stage and then just absolutely go for them.
Yep, and that short hop too. The fact that he did it out of the short hop and he did it as fast as humanly possible while also drifting so far out. There's against most characters in the game, you're safe at that distance. In that time period, your opponent just can't get to you fast enough for you not to be able to react to it. Yoshi is very different on that regard, both on his aerial speed and also how large his forward area is. His head extends out really, really, really far. And YellowRello definitely knowing the max spacing for it there, barely catching with the tip of the top of his head. Pretty
Well,
strong stuff.
And having the ability to recover after that too is big. You know, I think with a lot of characters, a forward air in that scenario, or really any move that'll take it out, forward air and air or whatever, you basically choose between it being strong enough to kill your opponent or, you know, being safe enough to actually be able to make it back to stage. You usually don't get both of those in that situation. But as you mentioned, Yoshi is in the unique spot where the forward air is big enough and strong enough to kill the opponent, but he's got the recovery to be able to make it back. So very, very good, you know, just adaptation there from Rello over the course of the game, being able to turn it back into his favor. And again, JAMA, I think, started losing that game all because Rel started running off the stage once JAMA had invincibility and he overextended. And that made him eat 61%, and ultimately that was the demise for the stock. So I want to see if JAMA can maybe be a little more patient, maybe keep the game as much to that mid-range as possible now that we're here on Town and City for game 2.
Yeah, JAMA was definitely doing a good job in the first stock of that last game, just like staying out, throwing projectiles, being safe, placing his boomerang in the right spot, and like playing safe if it wasn't connecting. So that will be pretty big here. Situations like that right there, where like he's falling off stage while he's ledge trapping his opponent, are going to be really, really scary for him, because that is a situation where all the momentum can turn around, and now YellowRello can get his thing going. No longer has to worry about the projectiles. The mid-range and like the poking game is effectively over. Now it's just pressure in the corner. And that is a situation where JAMA was struggling in this game.
Oh my gosh, no struggles right there, though, with a boomerang into the dash attack. We see that JAMA's actually setting up for, you know, just a lot of mix-ups with that boomerang in general, trying to confirm off of that. I'm not sure if that's an online thing, because I normally don't see JAMA getting this many combos, this much usage out of the boomerang. It could also be a matchup thing, where that boomerang is good at, you know, controlling that mid-range. And like I said, against a Yoshi, that's where you want to be, but you still don't want to be off stage against this green little dino.
Yeah, with Yoshi's aerial mobility, sometimes it can be hard. Like, while like challenging his moves on paper is not super difficult, because of the like his moves have good like good range and good hitboxes, but like it's not a sword. But because of how mobile Yoshi is, a lot of times like trying to fight him with
no, that's what got you killed last time, JAMA. You got to be careful.
Yeah, trying to like hit Yoshi with physical attacks can be very, very, very challenging.
Oh no, recovery's not going to be enough to make it back there. Rel thought the air dodge, I think he actually air dodged into the stage, which bonked a little bit of his momentum. So JAMA's going to get a little bit of a blessing right there, getting that stock with only 11% on his own, but we've seen these platforms be a big setup for Rello in the past. Now we got to see downer on shield. JAMA, I mean, JAMA's been doing a lot of committal aerials. That's where Rel has been getting a lot of big punishes, and honestly, that's how you should play the matchup too, a lot of times with Yoshi, right? Because like you mentioned, aerial drift is so insane that it's very quick to react to a whiffed aerial with one throw.
For sure, yeah. The character doesn't need to challenge aerials a lot of times. There's situations where he's like waiting for the opportunity where he can beat it for free. And JAMA like using the down air in ways that are like sort of tricky, especially with like the bonk off the bomb he did the last game. It's pretty cool. But YellowRello is definitely like recognizing it ahead of time. He's seeing the situations. He's not getting tricked by it. Situations like that. Even trying to spot dodge it to get like the optimal punish out of the shield break, or the even just like the down B hit confirmed.
Yeah, which would take the stock at this percent, but we're seeing that move to take the stock is the problem for Rel right now. He just can't find that finishing blow, because JAMA, I think honestly, the defense has gotten so much better.
Yeah, now that he has such a lead, he's definitely very comfortable just staying back. And that's the situations where he's getting head up, where he's trying to dance on YellowRello's shield. That up air out of shield coming out so fast and just cutting through all those options he's trying to do it full on.
Oh, there we go, up B at the side of the stage. That's one of the reasons JAMA loves Town and City, but he's not going to be able to find a kill. He also does, to be fair, just love the hell out of that hero spin. He uses it, so I mean, that is the JAMA, is to use the hero spin when you don't think it should probably be used. Yeah, but here he is hitting them anyways.
Yeah, and also it's like the JAMA special of like recovering with the reverse up B to try and pull his opponents off stage, just like steal their stock early.
Ooh, not going to be enough to take it with that forward air. It's strong, but Yoshi, you know, as small as he is, he's still a dinosaur. He's still heavy. And now Rel maybe has a chance to get the stock. He knew that was his chance, but the second time that he dies in this single game by bonking on the stage.
Yeah, I like the idea of trying to go for the down air. There definitely was a situation where he could have stole the game away. A little bit misplaced, which is fine, but the recovery afterwards definitely hurt him.
And I think the recovery being misplaced was, of course, why he lost stock. I mean, that is objectively true, but it's the fact that it is hard to space your recovery perfectly online sometimes, because you think, okay, like, based on the instincts that you remember, I'm right here, so it takes this much stick movement to get back to the ledge. And then it's online, so you're a little bit behind, and you go further under the stage than you thought you would.
And now you're panicking, and you're like, wait, he was supposed to be dead. The game was going to be over. What? I need to survive still. And like, he's going to come back. And I'm at such a high percent. And he's still so low. And then, yeah, those situations also happen where you're like pulling a little bit too hard and like not aligning perfectly, and your brain is thinking about other things.
Yeah, it's just hard to stay, even keel when playing online. I think that's one of the big things about playing Wi-Fi in this, in general as well, is just it's a lot easier to get tilted when you can't see your opponent. It's very easy to make assumptions about the person that you're playing when you can't, physically see them and go like, oh, okay, they're a perfectly reasonable person who's not laughing in my face right now. So, staying even keel, I don't think either of these two players are going to have trouble with that in particular, but that does also apply to, like you said, keeping composure and keeping control of your character and not panicking in a situation like we saw at the end of that game too. So maybe here in game 3 we can see a little bit of a change from YellowRello. Now, he is taking it to Battlefield here, a fantastic Yoshi stage, tons of jugglers. We've already seen how much damage he can get without triplats by just stringing together those up airs. Now that gets amplified because we are on those triplats.
Yeah, if he lands one of those rising up airs without a shield, like that's going to be another up air onto the platform, and then like guaranteed extra damage on top of that. So, while it might be a little bit harder to find those situations where he can do the rising up air because those platforms will be stopping JAMA. Yep, the air dodge going to be super open for that forward air afterwards. This situation where other characters might have a hard time getting out there fast enough to actually punish, but Yoshi he's out there.
Yeah. Aerial drift is insane, and of course, like you said, he's able to make it back, and then the Realm Classic is to go all the way out there, and this is what we were talking about, right? Yep. 78% so quickly.
And it could have been more. Like, that's not even the worst it could be.
Yeah. All right, now JAMA gonna have to go for that low recovery. Great catch there from Rel. JAMA has no jump. He's still barely able to make it back. Max range on that hero spin. I think if Rel had just played a little bit more patiently off stage, recognizing that the jump was gone, may have been able to cover it. But now, JAMA back on stage. He has paid dearly for the ability to come back on stage. And Rel looking for some sauce. My goodness.
Yeah, trying to go for the shield break. Which I like the idea for it, because it covered shield, it covered spot dodge as well, and it ended fast enough that the roll away, JAMA wasn't actually will be able to punish. So, and a good reaction to afterwards too, seeing that the grab from JAMA whiffed and getting the up smash KO. Really good scrambles.
Man, honestly, as much as I said I didn't think we would see it, this is looking like major tilt factor from JAMA. That's one thing that he's still able to do, right? Is that's in his comfort zone. So a big read with that up B is something that he can go for and take that first stock from the low. But it is only the first stock, and he's half dead on his last. We got to see if JAMA can kind of reset that mindset, make it back. The footstool's gonna help. Huge.
No. That's such a huge thing. That's the big weakness from Yoshi's recovery. The only thing in the armor does not stop is like grabs and footstools like that. So YellowRello going so far off stage, actually losing his own stock because of it. This puts JAMA back in the game.
Oh, way back into the game. I've seen JAMA make huge comebacks because of things like this, right? It all starts with one JAMA up B. He's able to get a quick next stock, and then we're back to an even game. He goes for the JAMA right there to knock Rel back off stage, but now he's got a gargantuan task ahead of him, trying to make it around the Yoshi, but Rello ready for that bomb recovery. The up air comes out, and tail slaps put the Yoshi into winners finals.
Whew, okay, that was that was a bit of a roller coaster. That was a game that should have been YellowRello's easily, and then suddenly turned very quickly into a close game.
I thought that JAMA was absolutely going to make that entire comeback happen, but once he went off stage, that's where Link is going to struggle against the Yoshi. Just about any character will.
Yeah, and he picked some good decisions for recovering. He definitely he recognized when YellowRello was looking for those forward airs off stage and upbeat early, and turned that into a bit of a 50-50 of whether or not he'd be up being early or up waiting and then going a little bit lower. So in those situations, he definitely extended his stock longer than he could, but the longer than he might have seen it if he wasn't trying to go for that. But it still got to the point, where Rello was just really putting the hurt on him off stage, putting lots of damage on. Consistent damage output. Never JAMA had a hard time after that first stock just getting solid ground underneath his feet. Rello was just on him constantly.
So yeah, JAMA's gonna have to make a run through losers bracket if he wants to stay in this tournament. Of course, he's still in now, but if he wants to have a chance at that first place prize, that's where he's going to have to continue the run. YellowRello versus Grayson is, of course, set up in Winners Finals, and when we get back, we will have more of Ultimate Shockwave Online 2 ready for you all to watch.